Well, let's talk about Book of Five Rings, Miyamoto
Hmm.
Musashi, who was a
Hmm.
samurai. Like this is written in like the 14 or 1500s, I
Yeah, I
believe,
want to
or
say 1500.
when
I could be wrong, but I think it's 1500.
yeah, yeah, I'm just going to go on record saying I am totally pulling this out of my ass. So don't
Look it up,
come at
guys. You
me.
can just look it up.
Um yeah, Google it. Book of Five Rings. And then Art of War. You know, I just watched this Netflix series called Blue Eye
Oh, I loved
Samurai,
it. That was
which is
amazing. Yeah.
fantastic.
Love the animation.
It's
Love it.
fantastic.
High production value.
Oh, yeah, like, it's like John
Yeah.
Wick. If you like John Wick, you'll like Blue Eye
Hmm.
Samurai, But there's this great scene where the main character is this, very John Wick-esque, like, really good at what she
Hmm.
does, which is basically, like, killing and
She's a
stuff.
Ronin.
And then, her master yeah, she's a Ronin, which is, I bet there's a lot of influence from, like, the Book of Five
Oh,
Rings in
yeah.
there. But, there's a scene where she's at a crossroads and she's, indecisive, and her mentor is this master swordsmith,
Hmm.
um, makes swords for samurais, and he said, "Hey, I trained you to be an artist. Like, I study philosophy and all this
Hmm.
stuff so I can make better swords. Like, everything I
Hmm.
do is to make better swords." And so, like, there's this level of, like, art I love like, that was super
Hmm.
impactful for me, is that,
Craftsmanship.
like, y there yeah, there's no art. I think that's what you're
Yeah.
saying, is, like, there's no art and strategy. It's like everything we do is to, like, posture that we're, like, big tech CEOs right
Hmm.
now, and there's no craftsmanship
Mm-mm.
in art like, everything we do in our free time is to become a better developer of
Hmm.
products. There's not a lot of that.
No. And I think it's the stage that we're in too, right? In our internet and information based economy. It's the stage that we're at too. People love to talk about like late stage capitalism. I saw articles at late stage UX. These are interesting concepts. I do believe that that has something to do with it. You have to move with the times, but some of it is just lazy, to be honest, right? And it's also, as I say, to have empathy, it's not easy coming up with a large vision or coherent strategy to execute on. That's not an easy thing. That's why they hire us. That's why that's why you try to find the most qualified people you can, and that's why you try to be collaborative. You want to have more minds on that problem. You know, so that's to me some of the issue. But why I'm saying this is because I see a definitive lack in wisdom in some of the decisions I have seen in the past, say 6 years to 6 to 8 years. And I'm just like, okay, I'm not getting this. If unless you just want to be a real cynic, then it's like, oh well, obviously there's some other personal things going on. This person just wants, make this money and move
Yeah,
on.
like, move their career
Yeah.
forward. Yeah, exactly. And, I think that's I mean, if it makes you feel better, my hypothesis and read on the situation is that it's always been like that since, like, the dawn of the Industrial Revolution. I mean, when you, like, listen to Steve Jobs' last interview, he talks about there's this disease in the tech industry that, like, the idea is 90% of the work, and that all you have
Mm-mm,
to do is hire a bunch of smart
mm-mm,
people and say, "Cool, build this great idea that I came up with," right? And so I think it was like that's what Steve Jobs was, like, railing against back in the
mm-hmm.
'80s, and so, like, I think it's always been that way that, there is gonna be,
Yeah,
carpetbaggers,
yeah.
for the listener, like, if you remember in, like, elementary school, like, history class, like, it's a while ago, carpetbaggers were people that, they had these carpet bags back in, like, the 1800s, and they basically would just put in the bags whatever was the hot new thing in the market, and they'd go try and sell it, right? There's always gonna be, like, carpetbaggers, people that would have been management consultants 10 years
Mm-hmm.
ago that are now, like, product managers or, whatever, that they're just chasing the high status job.
Yes.
And maybe that's always been the
Well,
case.
that's a motivator in society too. So let's not be naive. We have to have some of these motivators. What we're saying is,
That's why I have this
yeah,
podcast. I'm actually a pretty naive
well,
person, so I'm gonna have
yeah,
smart people
well,
like
no,
you.
no, no, I'm just saying we have these motivators. Like I like to
Yeah.
eat and pay mortgage and stuff. That motivates. I like to
Yeah.
have my music life, and this equipment costs money. That motivates me. You know what I mean?
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
we know that. But what we're saying is a lot of the products that we work on, the platforms that we work on have definitive impacts in society, some very large impacts beyond economic impact. And so, we think that I think UXers and on a whole might be in agreement with this. We think that it should mean something. But it's also a catch 22.
Mhm.
I look back at my career. I've been involved, as I said, since the 90s. And I go, there's no permanence to any of the work I've done. I
Yeah.
dawned on me the other day. I was like, I mean, it occasionally comes to me, but I was really thinking about it the other day. And I was like, if I was a painter, I could still look at those paintings I did 20 some years ago. None of the work I've done is there anymore. Well, some of it, maybe the past 6, 7 years worth of stuff.